ever like hesitate before you put anything out online on social media? Especially just in the climate that we're in, where like you are sharing so much from your heart, but I just think social media is such an interesting place that does kind of favor this idea of like separation and just kind of this fiery, like combative rhetoric. So I'm just curious, like, do you ever like pause and just like, should I put this out? And part B is just like, do you take in feedback? Do you pay attention to any of that? Like, how does that fit into like your creative process?
Yes, I literally had this moment today.
Perfect.
So with all of the events that have taken place this week that we're in, I had something that I written last year, and I was like, I just want to share this. It was a poem that I written, and as I was going back through my Instagram archives, gathering it. And as I found it, I remembered this really hurtful comment that I got in response to this poem. And the poem was essentially just like a lament for things that Black people have endured in America and my ancestors. And it was just a lament. It was just, this is what I feel like. I don't have like a positive bow to put on it at the end. This is just how I feel right now. And I just want to leave that here. And someone left a comment. He was like, it's this kind of stuff that holds Black people back. And it was really hurtful to me because I was like, actually, this is the opposite. This isn't holding me back. Like, I find there's freedom in me sharing this. Like the fact that I'm not holding it in and I am talking about the pain and I am talking about struggle. It's like, even beyond like this context, there's so much stigma around talking about pain and suffering and like, no, just be positive. It's like, no, like we have to have safe spaces where we can talk about, these things. So obviously the public internet is not a safe space because people will say all kinds of things. And I am mindful of that. But that message was frustrating because as someone who does have like a following, I actually receive like lots of kind messages. I don't have a ton. I don't have a ton of, they come in, but I either ignore them, I don't see them. I really don't even worry about that too much. And I don't feel like get that many, which I'm grateful for. Maybe they're all gearing up to just come at me at one time by the thousands. I don't know, but so we'll see. We'll see what internet people have planned. But anyway, I'm grateful to have very kind people, but that really hurt me. And when I got ready to share it today, I thought about that. And I was like, what if I get a comment like that again? So what I did, I actually edited my caption and I said, when I shared this last year, someone said this and I passionately disagree with them. And here's why I disagree, because this is actually freedom for me. This is a form, and I just like went on and on and on about it. So I feel like for me, it's when I do have those moments of some kind of doubt as to, I'm not sure if I can share this, I end up including that in the message if I share it. And there are some times where if I have like a strong feeling about something and I'm writing it and I'm not sure if I should share it, what I'll typically do is I'll just say, maybe is this something I would post today or something I might post a week from now? Let me sit on this for a week and then see how I feel about it. So it's a little mix. It's a little bit like, sometimes I'm like, nope, I don't care. I'm going to share this. Like, I need to say this now. But sometimes it's like, okay, this isn't urgent. Let's just sit on it for a week. And sometimes I come back to it for a week. I come back to a week later and I don't share it. Sometimes I come back and I do share it. Like I did a piece that on what I've learned from ocean currents not too long ago. And that was one that I sat on because I was like, I think this is just like a weird Morgan thing. I don't think anybody's going to care. No one's scrolling through looking for ocean current content like this. I don't know why.
You'd be surprised. And we need hashtags. I'm obsessed.
And so I sat on it for a week and I was very wrong. A lot of people really connected with it. So yeah, sometimes it's not even for like a deeply emotional thing. Sometimes it's just I don't know if people are going to connect with it. So I'll give it a week or two and, see what happens.
Yeah, it just sounds very intuitive, which I think is, so admirable, especially like I know art is probably pouring out of you most of the time. And so to just kind of have that like full body yes, I think is important, is really important.
Mm-hmm. With that comment from that man, do you think the frustration was geared towards the way that you are channeling your anger and frustration about being a Black person in America right now is sort of creating art? It's actually transmuting this experience into what is perceived from the outside by other people as really beautiful things, where you're sort of sharing your heart. Do you think the frustration was around like how you're transmuting this experience into art, or what do you think the frustration was around?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think honestly, I get very protective of people who are on my page and who follow me. And a lot of times, anytime I have ever deleted a comment, I can honestly say this, it's because I didn't want someone else to see it. And it brought up and it triggered something for them of like a time where they were judged or so. Yeah, sometimes like I will go through because I'm like, in this context, this isn't helpful. So like if someone's like, you just need to be positive, like, I'm like, that is really toxic and can be very hurtful to someone if they're in a vulnerable place. Like if they lost a loved one and they're reading this comment and they're trying to figure out like, am I okay to grieve? I don't even want them to see that. So yeah, there's times where I delete for that reason. So I think with that comment, it was seeing that I was like, if it makes me this angry, and I'm somebody who shares online and is kind of used to, okay, yeah, anything could happen, when you share something. Just imagine how somebody else may feel like another, maybe a black woman who's, or a black teenage girl who's just now starting to feel comfortable sharing her voice online. And she's afraid of guys like that who will, come after her and say things. I'm like, I don't want her to feel that way, even though it really hurts me too. So I think that was it. It was just like, wow, people are really out here saying these things like at this point in history. Really? Really? You think this is okay? And just not wanting other people to have to see that kind of comment. Like, yeah, I think that was it.
Your page, your rules.
Yeah, that's what I would say. My page, my rules. Yeah, I believe it too. It's really beautiful. And I've noticed that in your work is how protective you are of other creatives' experiences and other people's creative processes and other people's way in which they experience things. And it's really beautiful how that translate to your page, where you do feel safe. You do feel like it's a place where you can come to feel supported or feel like you're going to be seen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose. And follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.